What's up, ego hackers? This is C.S. Joseph, and welcome to the C.S. Joseph podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph, as usual, and as obvious as I can make that out to be. That being said, today's question is, quote, is it normal for ENTPs to creep themselves out on a regular basis, or does this only happen when you transition into your subconscious? Wow, what a question. It's so funny because I experience this on a regular basis. It's not necessarily creep themselves out. It's more of like reliving the pain of the past constantly. At least that's just kind of how it happens with me. And then I end up getting creeped out over some of my past behaviors over time because it's like, wow, why did you act like that? You know? And it's more of just we're carrying a lot of regret with our SI inferior on a consistent basis. And then it's really our INTJ shadow that's reacting, feeling embarrassed as a result of that regretful memory, etc. And this question was asked in a very informative manner, so I hope I'm answering it in the proper context. But no, it really has nothing to do with transitioning into your subconscious. It's more of just all four sides of your mind are sitting at the table and just disgusted with the ego, basically. It's really just them being disgusted, and that disgust is actually necessary because the INTJ, the ISFJ, and the ESFP are trying to get the ENTP ego to actually sit down and listen to them and improve for the better. It's just completely natural. And this is somewhat discussed in the Season 19 episode for ENTP, which if you want to get the Season 19 episode for ENTP, go to csjoseph.life/ENTP and get the Discover ENTP package. There's 2 private episodes not available anywhere else other than there. And otherwise, you can also have a chance to get Discover All for a huge discount, which basically means it gives access to all of the Season 19 episodes that are missing because they're only available in there. And then also the missing 8 Season 14 episodes, the first episodes of Season 14, which is the original lecture series on sexual relationships for golden pairs. You might want to check that out. csjoseph.life/XYZ type. So just EST/ESTJ/ENTP/INTP. That's where they are. Go ahead and check that out. But yeah, I do creep myself out all the time. Sometimes I make my own skin crawl, and it's mostly because of regret. The thing is, though, is that sometimes I'll even shake or even shriek because I'm reliving a bad memory in the past. And I've noticed this is usually what happens to INTJ-focused ENTPs. ISFJ-focused ENTPs don't really have as many regrets, but then again, they're also playing life safe. And because they play life safe, they're following the bouncing ball of life and doing what they should, which means technically they have less regret from a social aspect. But really, it's the INTJ shadow just feeling like it's been embarrassed and mad at Effie Child for just being a stupid little kid, allowing that social situation that led to the embarrassment of the INTJ shadow. That's literally the source of what's going on. Now, how I've been able to deal with this situation, and this is a solution, is just remember that, Memento Mori. Remember you're mortal. Remember all things die. All things must die. Vala Morgulis, right? All men must die. That's just reality. If you can take the principle behind Vala Morgulis, then you can actually get to a point where you recognize that the person you were yesterday is not the same person you are today. And it's funny because this is what I actually teach INJ ego types all the time. INFJs and INTJs need to understand that they need to stop comparing themselves to other people, especially INFJs, because they'll gaslight themselves. And instead, compare themselves to themselves. They need to understand that if they are progressing every single day, that they are not the same person they were the previous day. And that is absolutely critical for an INJ to learn within their life, or else they will suffer for the rest of their days. That could be a huge problem. So why is that necessary for ENTPs? Because you have an INJ shadow, and ENTPs still have to understand that as long as you're not the same person you were yesterday, it's okay. That means the person you were yesterday is dead. They no longer exist, okay? You exist now. You're going to exist tomorrow. Even if you die tomorrow, you're still going to exist tomorrow, okay? And if you want to get into some crazy metaphysical discussion about that, I'm sure you'll enjoy Chris Taylor and I talking about that on an upcoming Cutting Edge podcast episode, maybe even next month. Hopefully he's down for it, where we can talk about the shape of the universe as a result of the four-dimensionality and the quantum, looking at quantum physics and psychology. Hopefully we'll have that discussion next month for that. But csjoseph.life/members, become a journeyman to be able to get access to the Cutting Edge podcast. It is a private podcast. We have like years of content in that podcast alone, 2-hour-long episodes, and we have at least 2 years of episodes up. So like, check that out. It's a lot of content. Good luck binging all of it. But that's the thing, like, the INJ shadow of the ENTP just really needs to realize that our old self is dead. And we can let go of that regret because of Memento Mori, because of Vala Morgulis, because of death. This is why ENTPs, out of all the 16 types, are the absolute closest to death. And they're also the most welcoming of death of all of the 16 types eventually. Maybe it doesn't start out that way early in life. I remember being scared to death of death as a young child, but now I recognize it's a very normal part of life. And while my body is mortal, my soul basically is immortal and will just end up looking for a different interface depending on what happens. But the reality of the situation is that I don't have to live my life of regret anymore because I'm not that same person. That person is dead. And an example of this also within real life is basically the example of the rite of passage. Also, another example would be, like how secret societies initiate people into higher levels of their secret societies, is because they're trying to make everyone, all of their acolytes and all their initiates, understand that their past self is dead, okay? So how does an ENTP stop creeping themselves out on a regular basis and dealing and living with regret? It's literally just recognize that your past self is dead. You're alive now and you're not that same person. Yeah, you may have done some things, and yeah, you may still be dealing with the consequences of those actions, but you're not the same person. People are always talking about their demons, and fighting their demons. Well, their demons are just bad consequences to poor decision making in their youth. That's all that really is. So let go of that. Move on. It's not necessary to live your life that way. Let go of regret. Live life with no regrets. You're not going to be the same person. You are already not the same person you were yesterday, and tomorrow you're not going to be the same person you were today. Let it go. Use your INJ shadow properly. Teach your INJ shadow, yeah, it was embarrassed, but it's not embarrassed now, so it can get over itself. If you do that, you'll be way more successful in life as an ENTP. I promise. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys tonight.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any